Today we are going to be learning about the people of the Eastern Woodlands. If you look at the map, you'll see a picture of New York State. Focusing on the green specifically, you can see the Algonquins. This is their territory. They lived on Long Island and in the Hudson River Valley. They are called Algonquins because they all spoke an Algonquin language. Looking at the same map, but this time focusing on the purple section, you will see the Iroquois territories. Many of the Iroquois lived in central and western New York. The Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca. The Algonquins gave them the name Iroquois. It really means rattlesnakes. However, the Iroquois called themselves the Haudenosaunee, which means people of the Longhouse. Here is a picture of a longhouse. Both the Algonquins and the Iroquois lived in longhouses. Up to 20 families could live in one house at a time. Isn't that crazy? This is because the longhouse was about 200 feet long. They were made out of wooden poles, branches, and covered with sheets of bark for protection. Life in the Eastern Woodlands was different for every member. Each member had a special role that helped their society meet their basic needs for survival. If you look at the women, they were really in charge of the crops, planting and caring for them, picking them, while the men were more in charge of hunting, fishing, trading. They also made canoes, and if they needed to, they cleared the fields so that the women could plant. Children even had a role. The boys learned to shoot a bow and arrow, they built traps, and they hunted smaller animals. While the girls learned to cook and make pottery, they also made clothing from deerskin. Here you will see a picture of the three sisters. They include corn, beans, and squash. They're called the Three Sisters because this was a very important part of the diet for those who lived in the Eastern Woodlands. Storytelling. Children would gather around the storyteller as he would speak about the land and animals. The storyteller would also tell about the history and ancestors. Ancestors are people in your family who lived before you. Let's pretend you were a child of one of the Seneca tribes. You might hear a story that sounds like this. One day, Dagogi, the cat, caught a mouse and made ready to eat it. But just as he was about to take his first bite, the mouse said, "Wait!" "Why should I wait?" said Dagogi. "I've waited long enough, and I'm very hungry." The mouse answered, "No brave warrior ever eats until after he has first washed his hands and face." Dagogi then put the mouse down and began to wash his face. The mouse jumped up and scampered away, and Dagogi lost his dinner. He said, "This has taught me a lesson. I will never wash until I have eaten."